President Trump, if you see this, please save us. I don't even see our American flag anymore. God is talking with some kind of crazy flag. This is America. This is our land.
Dude! What is this, bro? Dude, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of The Hangover when he's like, we fucked up.
We fucked up.
This is the craziest shit I've ever seen. Oh my God, dude. Oh, Lordy. What on earth? If you think Biden flip-flopping on Hunter pardon after Trump names 𝗙cie𝗶𝗪 as FBI director is worse than Trump flip-flopping on whether Project 2025 is the core of his policy agenda, you should turn in your journalism credentials and also your democracy ones. And, you know, Empty Wheel here brings a really important point. We just came out of an election season, and during that entire time, there was talk about Project 2025, about the 140 Trump staffers that worked on this thing. There were denials from Trump. He doesn't know anything about it. It's so extreme. The media covers for him. Trump is lying to our faces. And the minute he wins that election, he starts putting every piece of Project 2025 into motion. And there's not this huge group of articles about how the Republican Party is now damned. They're going to lose all the elections because Trump is a liar. Trump is deceitful. Our democracy is going to be victimized, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. None of that. They just cruise right by. They want to talk about Joe Biden's pardon. That's all they want to talk about because the mainstream media is in the tank for the Republican Party. And they have been my entire 50 years. I voted in 10 presidential elections going all the way back to George H.W. Bush in 1988 at the end of Reagan's atrocious 8 years of hell, where I watched him basically create tax policy that just decimated my parents' working class future and any chance of them getting ahead. And all the way from my first presidential vote until this last one for Kamala Harris, the mainstream media has always equalized on the Republican narrative. They have always done that. They have continually advanced bullshit narratives about Republicans being good with the economy. They're not. Being stronger on the border or tougher on crime. They're not. They're more criminal. They're more corrupt. They spend money more. They never balance the budget. They're terrible with the economy. They sink the middle and lower class. They don't fix actual problems. They leave problems to fester, or in fact, they advance policy that makes shit worse so they can then use the fear of this issue to like grasp power. They've been overly focused on religion the whole time. And Trump is going to pardon these motherfuckers. Can you believe this, guys? The president that generated this got reelected. What does that say about America, guys? Who are we as a nation? They have a gallows. That's like lynching shit. They're all white. They're all white people with the MAGA and the gallows and the attacking the Capitol. They voted for him again. Dude, that's crazy. And by they, I don't even just mean them. Because sure, you got all these idiots, but a whole bunch of like young white dudes voted for these guys. A whole bunch of gamer boys voted for this shit. A whole bunch of white women in well-to-do, you know, suburban neighborhoods with RVs and brand new cars out in the driveway and, you know, $200 nail jobs. Voted for this shit for 1776 and lynchings and all this fucking bullshit. Like, what are we doing, people? There's one thing they all have in common. He won't be working for them. Yeah, but see, that's just it, though. I believe that these people don't care. They don't expect Trump to work for them. I really don't think they do. I think all they expect from Trump is for Trump to hurt the people. It's like they build the noose and then they know who they believe should be in that noose. And it's Trump's job to just hurt those people. That's it. They don't care. They don't care if the prices go up. They don't care if the economy crashes. They don't care if they go through insane hardship and pain. As long as they can build a noose and the guy they voted for will understand who they want in that noose, and then he will go after them. And he will, figuratively lynch the people that they want to put in this noose. As long as he does that, that's all they want. I mean, even look at this, dude. We heard for the last year how bad the economy was. Black Friday spending soars almost $11 billion in one fucking day on Black Friday. And this is the same people that said, oh, the economy, the economy, the economy. Obviously, the economy was pretty fucking grand that they could spend $11 billion in one fucking day, bro. If you look at the people doing the MAGA shit, these people are not doing poorly. None of these MAGA people are suffering, bro. These guys are not suffering. They're doing just fine in their beautiful houses. They're not even doing bad. But like, my thing is this, is I've already seen certain things about civil rights happen here with women losing the right to abortion, and they're going after transgender people in a way that is totally unacceptable. There's like 500 anti-trans bills in state houses. Now, if America becomes a place where they roll back gay marriage and then they pass more laws about transgender people and they restrict access to birth control and they put Bibles in every fucking school, you can bet your ass I'm getting out of this fucking shithole country, because I'm not living in a country that starts going back towards the segregation of the 1950s because some crazy fucking Christians drank a Bible for breakfast. For me being 50 years old, I've seen how America has changed compared to when I was 10 to when I was 40 in 2009. America got worlds better in that 30 years period. But in the last 10 years, America's going fucking backwards, bro. Women are losing the right to their uterus. They're talking about rolling back gay rights. Like, when you start getting less rights, that's when I start getting alarmed. And I start getting ready to fight. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be getting more rights. That's the point. Rights are supposed to be increasing, not fucking decreasing, bro. Like, America got way, way better. I don't know what it is. I mean, I do know what it is. If I were to look at it, the situation we've been grappling with here, specifically in America, is a reaction to a black president. There was a black president, and he did some revolutionary shit. As far as, challenging the healthcare system, he brought healthcare to a lot of impoverished people, especially people of color, with Obamacare. And in states that expanded Medicaid, poor people got decent health insurance. Insurance companies could no longer pilfer you and reject you because you had asthma or because you got a knee injury 20 years ago. He took away their ability to use that pre-existing condition bullshit. And he expanded diversity and equity programs. And he was a black man. He wore a tan suit. He did all kinds of shit. He didn't bow down before this old power structure. Then we brought down Confederate statues and shit. People started doing anti-racism work. People started taking a knee at football games. And like, America that has been profoundly racist to the point of like, look at this shit. This is America, bro. Look at these white people. Look at them. They're smiling. Look at how smirky he is. He's standing underneath two dead people, bro. This is Indiana. Look at them smiling and like hanging out, watching people lynched. This is our fucking country, bro. This was our country until 1964. That's 5 years before I was born. We passed laws to change this. These people are like totally fine with that shit. That's America, bro. That was America from 1619 until 1964. This was our goddamn country. And now we've had 60 years of advancements to where this shit ain't supposed to be happening anymore. A black man became president, and now they don't want to do the lynchings yet. But what they want to do is people like this want to gather outside a concentration camp and watch them like ship off brown people that are working on farms. or construction because they believe that they're the dangerous ones now, or they want the transgender people backed into a corner or erased. This is some bullshit, bro. This is our fucking lineage here. And is it nice to look at this and know that this is our history? No, it's not. It sucks. It breaks my heart to look at this and know that white Americans were this fucking happy to watch people get hanged, people who didn't get a trial by a jury, people who, you know, a lot of times it was like they thought something happened. People thought they spoke the wrong way to a white woman or made somebody feel uncomfortable, and then they hunted them down and they hung them publicly, and then everybody showed up smiling, had a goddamn picnic, bro. Our history is like shitty. It's ruthless. It's insensitive. It's toxic. And we never made amends to the people of color for doing this to them for hundreds of years. And in fact, what we've done to people of color when they take a knee to protest people dying at the hands of cops, we blackball them. We hound them out. We prevent them from taking a knee. We tell them that there's no racism. We say that equity programs are a problem. We dismantle them. We tell them the shit they think is happening ain't happening. The history is the past, man. It's over. Like it didn't fucking exist. But it does exist because there's a wealth gap right now, guys, where white Americans have been inheriting property and houses and businesses from their families for hundreds of years. So now there's generational wealth in all the white families. Well, you know what? The people of color, the ones that didn't get lynched, they don't have that. They didn't own any property in the 50s. They didn't own any houses. When they did, you know what happened to them? They got removed when they built the freeways. Every time you drive on a freeway somewhere in America, you know what happens? You know how that freeway got built? There were some black people that owned property, and the government just took it. They took it, and they made a freeway. And so these people and their descendants and the people that lived in their community, they didn't build any generational wealth. They didn't have any shit to leave for their kids. And in fact, there are some generations, they haven't even owned a house. They've been in America for multiple generations and they've never even been able to buy a house because of our restrictive economic condition. And in fact, people of color are the ones that built America's wealth for the first 150 years, 200 years of the existence of this goddamn country. And then for the next 100 years, all we did was lynch them and punish them and burn their shit and steal their wealth. And that shit is fucking brutal, bro. It's hard to look at, but this is why we're going through what we're going through now. Is Donald Trump and the Heritage Foundation and these old school evangelicals, they did not mind this world. The evangelical Christians, they didn't care about segregation. They were fine with it. The Southern Baptist Convention, the Coalition of Southern Baptist Churches, they did not want segregation to end, guys. The churches, it's in their Bible. Slavery is okay in the Bible. They're fine with that. These people are probably Bible-reading, church-going people. I mean, if you go into it, there was like redlining maps. Here's how it worked. After slavery, there were redlining maps for cities. After enslavement and after Jim Crow, you go into the 1930s, you go in the 1940s. There were federal home loans, the FHA. The government started loaning people money to buy houses so people could build generational wealth. But what they did was they drew red line maps. And so basically the green areas and the blue areas get money. They get the good loans. They get the investment. The yellow areas, maybe you get money, depending on who you are. And the red areas, nobody gets a loan. None. Zero. None. And what were the red areas? The red areas were areas that had black residents, period. And they did this for like 70 years, bro. And then after this became illegal, they still did it. But then instead of having red line maps, they started doing it by zip codes. And if you look at these cities, these maps are sometimes from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. You can take like the redlined map of Baltimore from 1950 and then go look at Baltimore today, and the same areas that were red are still piss poor areas, predominantly people of color, 70 years later. This shit is brutal. So here's Milwaukee. This is our Milwaukee map. Here's Milwaukee now, and this was Milwaukee when it was redlined. And you're going to see some pretty stark shit. Here's our curve in central Milwaukee. And this was all redlined. Everything here, this was like downtown industrial, whatever, but this was all redlined. Now, what's happened in Milwaukee now is you see the waterfront property is plush, is green, but just inside the waterfront, all of this is still redlined. All of this yellow area up here where presumably the redlined people moved up there is now all impoverished. So you look at basically everything that was red and yellow is now still red, is still poor. Even down here where it was red and yellow, down into the south, it's still red and yellow. Down here where it was yellow, straight down, is still impoverished. All the area up here that is nice is still nice and green. All the area out here outside of the red that was suburbs has moved out a little bit. You see this part here, the yellow is still yellow and red, but like way out here, the green is still all the green. But you see that? That's Milwaukee, dude. This is Milwaukee, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, and here's Milwaukee today. And if you were to go to Milwaukee, I grew up 50 miles from Milwaukee. You go there, it's high black population, and all the black people are kind of squeezed into this area right here. And it's right around the freeways, and it is area that was the redlined area where all the people of color moved into like 80 fucking years ago. And they have been held there, not because they're not hardworking, not because they can't get jobs or they can't make something of themselves. It's because of America systemically has created our cities this way. They've created them in a way that keep all the benefits, all the affluent green areas for those of us that look like me, that have the same skin tone as me. And you go to every city with a high black population. You go to Milwaukee, you go to Detroit, you go to Indianapolis, you go to Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas. You can go to any of those cities, St. Louis, and you can look at the red line maps from 70, 80 years ago, and you go and look at the maps of the city incomes today, and it's practically the same goddamn shit in every single city. It has not changed. The black people are in the same areas, and they're at the same level of poverty, and it's not an accident. It is 100% our financial system. It is our system that has been in place since 1619 when the first ship with African people showed up in Jamestown, Virginia, man. And it's sad, bro. And it's pretty disgraceful that this shit is going on. And still to this day, we have Donald Trump who ran on a, they're eating the dogs, making up shit about Haitian immigrants. Dude, it's a problem, guys. It is hard to look at America and to look at the maps that I just showed you about Milwaukee and to look at the reality of our cities and the reality of what we've done to our fellow American citizens. And it's hard to look at that and to take it in because it's real easy to look at that and like, yeah, we didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't cause any of that pain. But I wake up every day and I get credit card offers from Chase and American Express and Citibank offers with really good interest rates. And, couple miles from here in a predominantly black neighborhood, they're not getting those offers because of that redlining system. I benefit from that shit every day. When the Portland police pull me over, they never have their hand on the gun when they walk up to me. And so it's really hard when we benefit from our privilege and we don't experience the pain of that shit. It's hard for us to take it in and want to do something about it because, of course, we didn't create it. But as long as we're benefiting from it, we are helping it continue. And that's why, there's a saying in the anti-racism world where it's not enough to just not be racist. We need all the white people in America to become actively anti-racist. And that's where we start looking at the painful truths and we start figuring out ways that we can give up some of our privilege to empower other races and marginalized groups. There's just so many ways that we can engage in becoming actively seeking to give up a little bit of our shit in order for the greater good of bringing some peace and some elevation and empowerment to people that haven't benefited the way we have.